Peace, peace, everyone. This is Ashaki coming in with a short video regarding beginning your spiritual journey. I've had a few people approach me about asking me certain questions about how I um, began my journey, the things that I'm involved in, asking questions as far, from a spiritual regard. And so I felt it was important for me to make a short video as far as what some of my practices are, how I arrived to the place that I am today, and where I'm going. Because as you know, my belief is that this is a journey. We should be progressing, not towards any certain goal, because quiet is kept. We It's my opinion that we've come to earth to learn. And with that being said, what my goal for my life, or where I'm the trajectory of my life, or my belief of what it should have been 10 years ago, 20 years ago, is totally different than where I sit today. So I wanted to share just a little insight as far as what has worked for me, or things that I know in that regard, to assist you on your spiritual journey, because you needed to approach this from a place of authenticity and also resonance. Don't do anything that doesn't resonate with your spirit, your soul. Some of us have done things in the past that have not served us, and it's because we weren't being true to ourselves. We weren't being true to our own spirit, our own soul, and what we should have been doing or focused on at the time. So just because it works for one person, or it looks good or sounds good, it doesn't mean that it's going to serve our highest good. So we need to be making decisions in our lives from a spiritual perspective, physical health, emotional, all of those things, from a perspective of, is it serving my highest good, first of all. So that would be my first tip, is whatever practices or things that you are researching as far as living a more spiritual lifestyle, is it going to serve your highest good? Is it going to help you to navigate this life in a better way? Is it going to assist you and give you the tools that you need to be successful in areas of your life? If not, then you may need to reevaluate those particular practices. I've had people ask me about being a witch, being Aj. Listen, for me, being witchy and doing those things comes very naturally, because I was born this way. It's in my lineage. Um, Not to get too deep into that conversation, but it's you have to take ownership of your own power and understand your own power. Once you understand who you are as a woman, um, once you understand that you do have a power, we all have innate gifts. Once you tap into that, those things will come naturally to you. And if you have those inclinations, you're already a witch. It's just that you need to learn some skills to go along with it. You need to learn how to work with magic. And that is a different conversation for a different day. But in regards to myself, basically, and it's not a basic type of story, not to kind of lighten it a little bit, but essentially what happened was, I've been involved in what people, a lot of people call the conscious community, for many years. And with that being said, during the time where everything was going on in Ferguson, Missouri, I was involved in a civil rights organization, and I was doing a lot of work on the ground and online and in the community. And I still do work in the community, but at this time I was entrenched with a lot of social um, activist type of activity. And I was researching because at that time, my writing, I had a different blog. I still have the blog. I just haven't written over there in quite a while. I need to kind of revisit that. But I had another blog, and that blog was focused on social justice. And I was doing some research about one topic, and I stumbled upon some other information, and it made me begin to research religion. Now, in my life, I was raised a Christian. I have family that is Rastafarian. I have family that is Muslim. But on both sides of my family, for the majority, they are Christian. My father was a minister, a pastor of a church. So, and then I have a long lineage of pastors and evangelists and all of these spiritual leaders or religious leaders in my life. My grandfather's father was a pastor. His father was a pastor. My grandfather's brother is a pastor. Like it's, and this is a different side of my family. So my father was a pastor, and then on my maternal lineage, then we have all of these ancestral fathers who were pastors also. Then I have my great auntie who is an evangelist, a minister as well. Her husband is a bishop. So it's, so some people hear me speak and they say I sound like a minister or pastor, and I guess I do minister in a regard, but I'm not a Christian anymore. But that is in my lineage, so I'm very um, speaking in front of people and teaching these things that I teach comes very naturally because it's in my lineage. But anyway, I said all that to say this. I was researching one thing, discovered some things about religion, and I purchased the book Stolen Legacy. If you haven't read the book, I encourage you to read the book. I purchased that book. And then I purchased the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization. Read those books. Mind was blown. Um, Continue to do research. I stumbled upon a man called Ray Hagins. Now, I don't follow Ray Hagins by any means, and I don't trust him. And that's another conversation for another day. However, he was a pastor that came upon some information and he deviated from Christianity and went somewhere else. So I continued to find different bits of information. And then it reminded me of being a young girl in a missionary Baptist church and questioning certain things in Sunday school. I remember asking my great grandmother, who was our Sunday school teacher, and she was a Sunday school teacher for many years. I remember asking her about Cain and Abel, because we're taught in the Bible that Adam and Eve were the first people, and they birthed Cain and Abel. Seth came later, right? When Cain killed his brother and he was cast out, he went to a different land, the land of Nod. I think that was the name of it. Anyway, it says he married someone and they had children. My question was, if Adam and Eve were the only people and their children were the only people, where did this wife come from that Cain married? Because there's no description of her anywhere. I mean, where could she have been born if they were the first people and everybody comes from them? I was beaten because of that question. Not by my great grandmother, by someone else. But I was punished because of my question. But my research in later years brought me back to those same questions that I had as a youth. Another thing was when I was a little girl, I communed with nature very naturally. I would spend many hours in the woods by myself. Nobody ever told me to do it or went with me. I would go on these adventures by myself, and I was very much at peace in these areas. Very inclined to play with animals and interact with animals, very inclined with nature, love to study different plants and leaves and all kind of things. The life cycle, I was very interested in those things. Um, Magical beings, all of that came naturally to me, but the world will take things from you. Y'all, I'm dealing with something. Anyway, the world will take things from you and begin to, I began to step away from really what was true to me and move more into a conformist type of mentality because I did not want to stand out. I didn't want to not be like I wanted to fit in. Fit in. Now it's very much accepted to be different, but when I was a little girl or when I was a teenager, it was not. If you stood out for the wrong reasons, you were ostracized, you were alienated, you did not have friends. It was difficult and it would cause a lot of depression. I suffered with a lot of depression during those times between probably fifth through ninth grade. I was very much in a depressed state, even beyond ninth grade. But those years were very difficult because I was grappling with the fact that I was different than everybody else. Now, I said all that to say this: find what is natural to you and pursue that, whatever resonates with you. If you feel an inclination to meditate every day, do that thing. If you feel an urge to explore crystals and their energy and their, using them, how to use them, do it. If you feel inclined to purchase sage, you feel like you may need to sage your space, do that. If you feel a pull or you're gravitating towards studying Ifa or studying Akan or different spiritual systems, do that. I have found that when I can only speak from my own experience, when I have researched and moved toward those things that I was interested in, I began to receive more downloads from the spiritual realm and began to grow in my own abilities and rediscover things that I had put to the side, like being a witch, like my intuition, my intuitive abilities. All of those things were, you know, what people call occult knowledge. When I was a little girl growing up, the word occult meant taboo, meant run the other way, meant, don't you dare say that. But as a little girl, I had a voodoo doll. Nobody ever taught me about voodoo or puppets and using them. It was natural to me. That came very natural to me, but I always hid that side of myself because my family was not accepting of it. The community I lived in was not accepting of it. But again, we live in a different time, a different season, where being different and pursuing different things is well widely more accepted than was in the past. Saying that you're a witch today in our country. Now, I'm not going to speak about other countries because there's some, witches are still burned at the stake. But in our country, oh, it's cool now. Everybody wants to be a bruja and everybody wants to say they're a witch and all these things. But quiet is kept, heavy is the crown that carries that, because with that comes a great amount of responsibility. So that's another tip for you pursuing things from a spiritual perspective. Please take it seriously. Have fun, but take it seriously, because I hear people saying that they're gonna call on this energy and all of it. Listen, know what you are doing, because once you open that door, there is no turning back, and you may invite things in your life that you are not ready to deal with. So I will say, make sure that you have a spiritual teacher. Don't pursue rituals and calling on particular gods and goddesses and particular energies, especially dealing with dark energy and dark matter and all those things, unless you know what you're doing, because you can open the gate to some things that you're not ready or protected. Make sure that while you're doing these spiritual things, that you do learn some protective prayers, protective magic, protective visualizations. Protect yourself, because you're opening yourself up to possibly attack. As good as much as there are benevolent energies and spirits, there are some that are very baneful and very evil. So you need to be protected. Know how to protect yourself psychically as well, because they can get in your mind. It can affect your whole life. It can ruin your life. I saw a story not long ago about a young lady that was a Satanist, meaning that she worshiped Satan. And initially, she said that she reaped a lot of benefits, but then it began to backfire because she had called him in, called in those dark energies, and it really affected her life in a very negative way. So make sure that you're protecting yourself. So I would say this: must be balanced in all things. I'm not all peace, love, and light all the time either. I'm quick to tell somebody to off. You know what I'm saying? But at the essence of it all, me being kind and sweet and those things, that's my natural disposition to be joyful and kind and light filled. That's just who I am. But with that being said, I attract a lot of good and a lot of negative also. So I know how to protect myself spiritually. So you need to learn that as well. So let me back up and just state a few tips. Number one, do what resonates with your spirit in your gut. Your gut is your intuition. So, whatever you feel inclined towards, whatever has been calling you, if you're seeing repeating numbers like 1111, 444, 333, all these master numbers, angel numbers, that's your spirit guides reaching out to you. So, research that. What does it mean? And pay attention to where you are and what you're doing during the time you're seeing these numbers. So, whatever resonates, kind of go towards it. Listen to your spirit, connect with your spirit. Meditation is great to do that. There are thousands upon thousands of guided meditations that are free on YouTube. Find some that you feel can assist you and begin to meditate every day, even if it's just for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, however. Some days I only have 5 minutes to meditate, and that's what I do. So, meditate every day, um, and listen to your spirit. Find a spiritual teacher. Yes, the greatest spiritual teacher is your highest self, but when you don't know these things, these terms, you're not familiar, find someone that you resonate with, and if they have a YouTube channel, watch a few videos. If they write a blog, read the blog. If if they do Facebook videos, watch those. Reach out to them, reach out to me, or ask people that are on a similar journey to yours who they have reached out to for information, knowledge, wisdom, whatever, what have you. One of my spiritual teachers is S. Ali Myers. I found S. Ali Myers on YouTube after reading Sacred Woman by Queen Afua. Um, and he's been awesome. I still follow S. Ali Myers. I probably always will. He's introduced me to a lot of things I was not aware of. He's helped me to rediscover things about myself. So having a spiritual teacher or people that you follow that are on a similar journey that can provide guidance and insight is awesome. So I would say that. Um, Journal about your experience. That allows you to release, that allows you to go back and review to see how far you have come. So, journal about your experiences in that regard. Find a botanica or some spiritual store to purchase items as you need them or as spirit gives it to you. Could be locally or online. Make sure that you read the reviews of whichever botanica or spiritual or metaphysical store that you utilize so that you're getting good products, good quality products. And I would say take a small step every day and don't become discouraged. Never feel like you are behind. You should have been here by now. You're exactly where you should be at this given time because I believe in divine timing. We don't learn everything at the same time, at the same pace. We don't arrive at the finish line, so called proverbial. There's no finish line in this journey. So, you may be more advanced in one area than someone else. It doesn't mean that that person is better than you or you're better than them. It's just that everybody's journey is individual. So the way that you're progressing is great for you, is what you need. So you do what you need to do on your journey and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't feel like you're behind and don't get discouraged. Don't become discouraged. Keep going. And then lastly, I would probably say make sure that you protect yourself. Do not become a victim to some of the people that abuse the knowledge and information that they have or they know. Now, I know everything doesn't come free, but there is a ton of resources that are available for free. A lot of us teach things and do workshops and free classes and blog posts and all kind of things for free. So don't get caught up and hoodwinked by anyone that calls himself a spiritual teacher just trying to get in your purse or your pocketbook. Yes, we light workers, or I don't like that term, but we spiritual teachers, we do need to be paid, compensated for the work that we do because it's not easy. However, many of us give away a lot of information for free. So go for free resources. If someone is constantly hitting you up, if they're approaching you for money, that's a red sign because you're the person seeking information. It shouldn't be anyone coming in your messenger saying, I see, you're gifted, but you have such XYZ, pay me this amount of money and we can get it removed. If they do that to you, they're flim flam, they're a con artist. Don't go for it. If you go seeking work from someone, like you go to a hoodoo, or, a hoodoo worker, a root worker, a witch, or a spiritual teacher, a tarot oracle, because I do tarot oracle readings. You approaching them looking for services, that's one thing. But if someone else is approaching you and you haven't even asked them for any assistance for money, then that's a whole different, don't fall victim. Do not fall victim to it. And if they call themselves um, some type of worker, they should have some testimonial somewhere. Someone should be able to vouch for them. Now, for those of us that are kind of new to our business, we may not have 25 testimonials, but we should have at least a few people that can vouch for our integrity. So, always look for people that display a level of integrity. So I've been talking for like 20 minutes. I really didn't mean for this video to be this long, but it happens. I'm sorry. I get excited when I'm talking about these types of topics and things because it is what I love to do and what I love to be involved in and what I love to talk about. So I hope this video has helped some of you that are beginning on your spiritual path. Don't get discouraged also if you've been a part of organized religion and this is your first time stepping away from the organized religion and going on your own path. We come to this earth to learn. This is your life and you should be free to live it as best you see fit. Unfortunately, we may have family members or friends that disagree with what we choose to do and how you choose to live, but don't allow that to stop you from doing what your spirit is telling you and calling you to do. You have a work to do. We all have a work to do, and you have been divinely called if you are feeling this way. It's not by any, coincidence that you feel inclined to study and want to be involved with the spiritual uplift. There's a change in consciousness going on right now. So a lot of people are beginning to wake up to the fallacy that has been fed to us that exists within some of these organized religions. I'm sorry, this is not to bash anyone at all, but it's just stating facts. Before there was a religion, there was spirit. So this has been Ashaki, your divine soul sister. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you will be so kind, please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. I would love to keep you on board because, again, I'm going to be coming with some spiritual juiciness. I'm working out some kinks on this channel, but I promise to provide quality over quantity all the time. I'm going to be posting videos every single Thursday, so be ready and prepared for that. If you don't follow me already on any other social media outlets, I will put those links and that information below in the comment section, the description box. I'll put that information there. Also, my website. And you can go on the website and see the services that I offer. Until the next time, sending you all an abundance of peace, love, and light. I'll holler at you all very, very soon. Have an awesome, awesome evening. Peace.